Hello everyone, this is the first episode of a new format, new media we're starting, a podcast about 42 Bangkok. We're going to talk about the 42 experience, the Piscines, the schools, the studies at the school, and obviously some stories about our own campus at Bangkok. And today, for the first episode, I'm joined by Pragathes Moorthy, if I pronounce your name right.
It's fine. Just call me Prag. It's all good. But yeah.
Prag.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you, Prag.
Nice to meet you.
He's coming from 42 Kuala Lumpur. So,
Yeah.
Hi, Prag.
Hi, hello. How are you?
I'm good, and you? I'm very good.
I'm good too.
Can you introduce yourself? What did you do before joining 42 KL? And what's your background, and how did you come to start 42?
So, before I started at 42 KL, I was actually a computer science student back in Sunway University. And what happened was we went into a lockdown and a pandemic. And then I decided that I was going to pick up streaming during that period. So I started streaming for about a year. Then I also saw that 42 KL was opening up in Malaysia. And I was like, hey, why not? I try this out. A lot of people from Sunway University told me to actually try it out. And I was thinking, it's free education, so why not?
That's very good. What was your major before 42 KL?
Yeah, so I took computer science actually before this. But like after coding for about 2 years, I realized that once I took that 1 year break, I came back again with like forgetting everything. And then I was like, oh no, I'm back here again. What's going on?
Was there a lot of publicity? Was there a lot of people trying to join 42 KL? Or it was quite easy to get into the first Piscine?
So actually, there was quite a number of people I understand who wanted to join 42 at a time. I think 3,000 students applied. About 500, I think, got it through the online test. And then from that point on, about 80 or 90 students came for the intake because of the COVID breakdown and everything. Not many people could actually handle the struggles. It was quite a struggle. We were all very worried whether or not we'd make it. But at the same time, the bocals were actually very helpful for us and they were very friendly. Yeah.
Okay, so for the listeners, the bocal is the term they use to call the 42 KL staff over there. It's like an aquarium, the bocal in French. Like they're isolated from the rest of the group. Okay, that's good. And so just to remind to everyone, so Prag did his first piscine online on an online format, so it was quite unique. Can you tell us a little bit about that? How it was?
So for me, the online format was something that I particularly enjoyed, right? Because even though I couldn't go to a physical campus, what I did know was I was able to avoid traffic, so I didn't have to commute back and forth. Nobody needs to know that I just woke up and immediately sat in my chair and started coding. I didn't have to go bathe, nothing. I could just like do this. I mean, that's bad. Don't do that. But you could do that if you wanted to. So there's a lot of convenience involved in it. Yeah, a lot of people say that you want to have that physical contact, that peer-to-peer aspect of 42. But at the same time, with online learning, this is the best you can do. And at the same time, it's actually pretty good already because everyone is still connected through either Discord or any other platforms. Yeah.
Okay. Was it hard to connect with other students, to make group teams and to work in collaboration with other people, or how did you do it?
It was actually very easy because I've used Discord, and Discord is like this, I guess, a software which communication is a lot more easier because it's both like a interactive forum as well as a voice call and video call that you can immediately join and talk to one another. Maybe in the beginning you don't know the UI, but once you get it, it's pretty simple.
Okay. Yeah. So did you go on voice chat with other people, and how?
Yes. Yeah, okay. We just click on a voice channel. We get in. Sometimes we're busy, and so we don't get to talk to each other till the end of the day. And then like maybe at 3 a.m. you'll see one guy in the voice channel. You'll join him. You'll say hi. This wouldn't happen in a physical setting because everyone would probably be at home asleep or something. Or be like, no, don't bother me. But online you can just like sit there and wait, and somebody will pop in. Yeah.
So you said you were about 80 students for this format?
Yeah, that was 80, I think, students in the first Piscine for February. It dropped to like 50 because it was rigorous. As you know, the Piscine is very, very rigorous. And all of us were just scared. We were like, oh my goodness, what's going to happen from here? Yeah, because we initially thought like we're not going to make it. But yeah.
Good. How many people got in? Do you have any idea?
So for my batch, we were quite lucky because I think a lot of us, again, it's not in 42, I believe. It's not like they choose a number. It's if you meet the criteria, they're more likely to pick you. And we were like very lucky in our batch because like we had this group of individuals who were all very helpful, all very collaborative, all very genuine. And they were all working together to this one goal, just passing the piscine. We didn't care about, who's better, who's worse. One day you're teaching someone, one day you're learning from the person you just taught. And I think about 39 out of the 80 students made it. Yeah.
That's quite good, all things considered. Well, congratulations, because as other people may not know, Prague actually managed to get in, to pass the Piscine, which is quite a feat, if I can say. So how in your own words, how would you describe the whole experience? What is a Piscine for someone who doesn't know what it is? How would you describe it?
So I would say the Piscine is metaphorically just like life. You go in there not knowing anything. You have to learn to cooperate with others. You have to learn to think for yourself, make certain decisions. You have to learn to work in teams that are randomly assigned to you every week. So it's a lot like actually going to work or actually going to this new environment where you don't know something. Because the first thing you do when you don't know something is you Google it. Next thing you do is you try to ask other people. So it's a lot similar to how you do things in real life. So you could say that, yeah, Piscine is similar to a coding bootcamp if you Google it. But like it's not really that. It's a lot more than that. There is a much more aspects than just coding. There's a lot more social aspects to it as well. And I think it's a combination of both. So the closest thing I would say is it is probably a coding bootcamp that has a lot of peer-to-peer aspect involved in it. Yeah.
Okay. And what was your experience? How would you rate your own programming level before starting the Piscine, and how about now?
So I would say that at the very beginning, because some people may consider the fact that me having a computer science background means that I had like a lot of experience or something. But the thing was, I only started coding for like around 2 years, and back in university, you could do a lot of like, okay, I'm not sure if I should say this, but you could do a lot of things that can allow you to get better grades, more better grades than you did. It's not cheating or anything. It's just that you know how to hack the exam because you know what's going to come out and stuff. But after taking that 1 year break and not actually realistically programming and realistically learning, when I did go into 42, I realized that I don't know anything. I know maybe what compile is. I know what an if-else statement is, but practically I didn't know how to apply them. I just knew the theory. That's what you learn in university. And so like back to your question, right? Level. I would say that I came in maybe at a level 1 or 2 understanding theory, but I came out maybe a level 5, level 6, closer towards understanding and practically applying. Yeah.
Well, you made quite a good progress in a short time, if I can say.
I'm surprised myself, but yeah, it's all thanks to my peers. It's the system itself that does it. Yeah.
What was your personal schedule? How did you approach the Piscine in terms of personal lifestyle?
So this is something I don't recommend to anyone at all. But what happened was because the Piscine was online for me, and because I am kind of a night owl. So what happened was the first few days, because I was so addicted to the Piscine. In the first day, I realized it was so tough. I didn't know like how to handle things. I took forever on the first project, but what happened was like I really enjoyed it, right? So I would forget time. Like one moment I'm awake and doing code, next moment it's nighttime. I haven't had like my lunch or dinner, and I'm like, oh no, I gotta eat now, and I'll go eat something, and then I'll be like, okay, let's watch a video on coding because I don't want to waste time, And I'm like, okay, cool. Let's try and apply this in the exercises. Go back, get a bit frustrated, and then realize, oh my god, it's 4 o'clock. I should go to sleep. And then in the beginning, I was like, I gotta wake up at 8:42 every day because like that's when we first started our first town hall. So for a week, I did that, and then I realized like, nah, man, I can't sleep for 4 hours a day. I need more sleep, right? And so because again, it was online, so it didn't really matter when the day you showed up or made it. Because like if it was a physical setting, maybe you want to go there early and mingle first with everyone before the energy levels dip. Because it's online, no one minds if you come in late or anything. People all just, they understand what's going on, right? Because there's so many night owls. And so like I basically had like, I would say the schedule I had was I would just code till I knew I couldn't code anymore. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. What in your own eyes, what do you think was the most difficult challenge of this piscine, of your piscine?
The most difficult challenge was, so because it's an online piscine again, there's a lot of distractions around you. In a physical setting, you'll see other people physically coding and you'd feel pressured to, want to keep staying on coding. At home, you might hear some baby crying next door, your neighbors fighting or something, and then you'd be like, let's go see what's that. Or like you might just like want to scroll on Facebook or something. And so the biggest problem would be distractions. But once you like put that off, you put your Discord there and you see everyone talking and oh my god, everyone is working, I better work. And so you get back to work. But yeah, the biggest issue I personally had was, I would say, distractions that come around the surroundings. But other than that, I would say it's actually a very good experience. Yeah.
That's interesting. And on the technical side, did you have any special struggle? I don't know about the exam, the group project, or some specific exercises? Or at some point, did you realize that the level was too difficult, or some exercise too challenging for you, or any kind of experience like that?
Every exercise was challenging. It was to the point that challenge didn't seem like a bad thing. So like when you ask me like challenge, right, I think like, oh great, challenge. Like before this, I'm like, no, challenge, no. I'm just gonna take the easy way out. Now it's like, oh, challenge, that means I'm learning something. And so like I would say every project was a challenge. I would say like the most challenging point was during the middle of the entire thing when we reached a group project that no one in my group knew how to do. We had like communication issues, a lot of other issues that was going on, having to finish our own like daily projects. And I was like, oh no, what am I gonna do here? But like we realized that you have to persevere, right? You have to persevere, try to communicate the best that you can, and you may not end up completing the project, you may fail it. In fact, I think the biggest part about 42 is failure, in my opinion. It's only through failure that you learn, right? And so we did learn a lot of things, but we got a 0. But we did learn a lot of things from getting that 0, and actually exponentially, increased our growth rate. But yeah, I would say that every project was challenging, was difficult. There was nothing that I felt that was too easy. I mean, I was stuck on the first question for like 4 hours initially, which is, if I look back, it's so silly. It's like a question that takes 1 minute. It's not even yeah.
How about the rush, the group projects and the exams? Can you tell your own little experience about that?
The exams. Okay, I will start with the exams first, right? So the exams was an interesting thing because at the beginning I didn't know if I managed to get into the exam or not, because like I didn't know what I was looking at, and I was like, okay, am I in or am I not? Because like you have this time period that you have to meet before you get into the exam, right? And I'm like, oh my god, did I make it? Did I not make it? And it's like, okay, it says I'm in some kind of exam thing, and I'm like, okay, cool. Then I see this document or something, and I open it, and then I don't realize for like a good half that I'm on the last page of the document. For some reason, I'm brought to the last page, and I was like, "There's not enough information. It does not make sense. What is going on here?" And then I try to figure it out, and then I was like, "Oh, okay. Finally, I kind of figured it out." And then I tried to do my first question. I sent in my first question, and I realized like it says failed, and I was like, "Oh no, what did I do wrong here?" No, but like, so what happened there was like I actually realized like what I had to do, and the best part about the 42 exam format is it's actually like a game. So not only are you realistically coding in real time your knowledge, you're also getting it tested out in real time. Normal schools usually use papers and pencils, so you have to like write down your code by heart, and that is where like they don't really test you on like proper things, and you can like basically copy paste a lot of things you memorized. But here it's like you have to test your code and then you send it in and you see if it actually goes through. Otherwise, it fails you, and then you have to like, how do I fix this? For the exam component, I would say it was like very realistic. It also tests your day-to-day knowledge from all the projects that you've done so far. For the rushes, those were realistic in the sense that you will be paired up with random groups of individuals, which I really liked. I'm a very shy person actually and very introverted, but having to be in this scenario pushes you to be your best, right? Because it's a struggle and you're struggling with all these other people. Sometimes there are better individuals in the group that will lead you and guide you. Sometimes there isn't, and you guys all have to find your answers yourself. So the rushes, I would say, was one of the things that exponentially increased your learning because people are forced to work together and to come up with an output.
It's interesting the way you talk about it. It really, I think, emphasized the difference between the traditional pedagogy of teaching computer science or any subject for that matter and the unique 42 pedagogy. And there is no easy way to describe it. I think you explained it well, that it emphasized on actually your solving, your logical thinking, your solving abilities, and that's quite good training for students. Do you have like a best souvenir, best memory of the Piscine? How overall the experience was good or quite exhausting? Like how would you describe your own feelings about the whole experience?
This was during week 3 or week 4, and what happened was I was contemplating taking one of the hardest projects in the Piscine, and I didn't know what to do right at that point. And I would say the biggest thing that I did at that moment, because I really didn't know what to do, was I was thinking, should I contact the vocals? But I was like, if I go and contact the vocals, will I look weak? If I ask them, should I take this project or not? So I was like, there's only one other person I knew to contact, and at that time I contacted you actually. I asked you like, hey Armel, should I do this or should I not? And then we extensively discussed it, right? And it was, I would think that is where like I learned, because in the past I was the kind of person that even if it's unrealistic for me to do something, I will just do it. I'll just do it. But one of the biggest things that the Piscine taught me was to be more realistic with my goals and targets and set much more closer or better targets so that I can reach them actually and actually learn from them, rather than set something way too impossible for me and sulk the next day, right? So I think one of the biggest souvenirs for me was being able to actually have that conversation with you, and so I really thank you for that. Yeah.
I'm honored. Thank you, Prague, for reaching out to me. I came to New Prague because I gave a little question and answer session with KL at the time, but we barely knew each other, and he contacted me on Discord, and I tried to give him my best advice without giving any technical answer, of course. Don't ever hope for that. You're not gonna get it.
Yeah.
I mean, right now you're 42 KL full-time students, right? And have you witnessed the new KL Piscines? Having that background of already having done the Piscine, how do you view the new students going through the same experience as you?
So initially the next batch after mine, they had a special case. They had a student from Silicon Valley who was already taken the 42. So he was called the walking cheat code because he knew everything, right? He was goal 100 for everything. There was like nothing he couldn't do, right? Final exam, 8 hours, doesn't 2. I'm like, what? How do you do this, man? Well, actually, he's done it before, right? And so like, I noticed that every batch always comes with this unique set of individuals, right? Because anyone who joins 42, they're taking a risk. They're taking this 1 month break of whatever they're doing just to do this thing. And it means that every 42 Pisciner is a risk taker by heart, right? And that's something that I think is very important in order to grow and everything. And so when I saw these new Pisciners, initially I was like, they were struggling. They were like really struggling, except, the guy from Silicon Valley, because he's not going to struggle. He's a cadet before this. But yeah, they were struggling. And over time, they go through the same process, I realized. Like everyone who goes in, no matter which background you come from, either, you have no background, you have background, you will struggle initially. But that's the point. You only learn from struggling. If you come to 42 and somehow you're not struggling, it's either A, you're a cadet, or B, you there's something, you're not learning. You have to learn. The only way you learn through in 42 is through that struggle. Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't know. I didn't know you had a 42 Silicon Valley students coming through your ranks. In that regard, how would you, like in 42 Bangkok, we have a lot of people waiting for the Piscine, and they waited a long time. And one of the most popular question I get is, what advice can you give me for someone who never coded before but who wants to get ready for the Piscine? What should they prepare? What kind of things should they do in order to approach the Piscine with the best mindset?
The first advice is don't give up. The biggest reason. Okay, I'm not gonna explain this. You'll understand why this by the end of the Piscine. The first one is don't give up. Like, just don't give up. Give it your all every day, and just don't give up. The second one is to be resourceful. Now, what I mean by be resourceful is you're supposed to help others and also receive help when you need it. And now the third one is to make friends. You're gonna have to make friends. It's a peer-to-peer environment. You're gonna have to make friends. If you don't, you're gonna find yourself struggling a lot. And then the fourth advice is be real. Be real. Be yourself. Don't fake anything. Don't look to be nice in the first week. It'll show. It's a month experience. You're not gonna be fake for a week and next week you'll be able to do it again because you'll be so tired and you might hate everyone. So it's better to be your realest self from the first day. The fifth advice is all the answers are on the internet. So that's 5 advices. But yeah, so like actually cut that fifth one out. Let me just say it differently for the fifth one. If you're having struggles, you probably either A, haven't Googled enough, or you haven't asked someone. So that's the 2 things you should look to do when you're struggling.
That's very good. I think it's one of the, in every subject there is this sentence at the top to say, have a question, ask your neighbor or something.
Yeah. So the subject was saying that if you don't know how to, if you have trouble, ask your peer on your left. You don't know, or if you can't ask your peer on the left, ask your peer on the right. Yeah. Or you can ask man, Google, or the internet. I was like, okay, exactly. Cool. Yeah. Initially, right, I didn't know that. I'm not sure if I'm able to say this, so maybe you guys can edit this out. But initially, I didn't know man was the manual. I thought man was the man, God. I was like, okay. But yeah.
We all pray to a superior entity to solve our code. It's fine. It's fine. You can talk about it.
All right.
Okay, that's good. Thank you, Prag, for answering all those questions.
No problem.
I think that's already enough content for the future Pisciners to appreciate. And I want to also give a big shout out to your streaming page, because I understand even though you started Fox2KL, you still have a streaming hobby, right?
Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
So, what's the name of your page? Where can we follow you?
So it's called Prag Gaming. So it's PRAGAMING, Prag Gaming. I stream horror games. Thank you so much for this opportunity, Armel. Shout out to the Prag fam, the community that created my stream actually. And thank you so much for the shout out, man.
No, that's cool. And he sent me a video. You can actually have a glimpse of the 42KL campus, which is quite cool. So hopefully we can see you in real life. You're welcome to join in Bangkok anytime, man. Be happy to meet you. And thank you again for coming, for joining us. And good luck for the rest of the 42, I guess.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'll see you soon. I'll keep your word on that, and I'll come to Bangkok, man.
Sure, man.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
All right.